good morning to people who are going to watch me live right now. So, I wanted to talk about spirituality. So, one of my mentees, she saw that I also tutor for English speaking and, English related courses. So, she asked me that what is the need of, becoming spiritual at all? So, just in a, very, very small conversation, I was telling her that no, despite being good at English or good at expression, spirituality has been a very, very dominant part of me. So from there erupted this question that what is the need actually of spirituality? Why can't we just go be, without it for long, right? Why can't we just lead our lives like that? So there came this question, and I thought that let's address this question in terms of what is spirituality? What is the need of spirituality? What are the ways? Why are people so scared of, becoming spiritual, or why are they why do some people not agree with spiritual people, so to say, right? So what is spirituality? When you think of the term spirituality, okay, um, it's something to do with spirit, right? The word spirit. And number of times you will be able to understand that the human race is like so obsessed with their minds. Like we always want to say that, oh, we are superior to others. Why? Because we have a mind. The other animals do not have a mind, and that's why we are superior. But look at how superior are we. Okay, everyone knows that eating something like refined flour or maida is so harmless to our bodies. But when we are the happiest or when we are the saddest, to celebrate or to even recover or to recoup or to make ourselves happy, we go and eat pizza, right? Or instead of eating pizza, we go and take something like really sweet or something which is going to harm our body. So many sweets which are offered for religious purposes as well. And so the fact that for celebrations we go to make our body come down into a worse situation, obviously without discounting the fact that in whatever situation the body is, the mind will also be in that situation. Your emotions will also splurge in the same possible way. So the idea is spirituality is reaching that place where you can make your mind a slave and not let it become your master. Okay. And in mind also, I will not get into mind and subconscious and unconscious and the conscious mind, because that would be for another day, I believe. So when you start understanding spirituality, it's something to understand with the 7 layers of existence. Because generally when we think of ourselves, then we think of ourselves as this body. Okay. So when we look at some person, let's say someone looks at me, I'm like standing, my body is standing here, and then they say that, oh, she's Arunima. Or when I changed my name, I was Aishwarya for that period of time. So we think that we are our names, we think that we are our bodies, and we don't question beyond that. That's the only thing that we are, names and bodies. Spirituality is the idea of understanding the different layers of our own existence, which will give you a better idea of who you are and why are things happening in your life. So the 7 layer of existence begins with, the entire idea of how do you know you are here? My body is here because you can see me live, see my body live, see my mouth speaking. So then this is my first level of existence, right? The body. The second level of existence is my breath. Okay? Because breath comes and goes, and through breath I know when breath goes, then I know that there is life. And the day I stop breathing, I'll not be there. So breath is the second level of existence, right? Moving on to the third level is your mind. Okay, so the mind keeps telling you things, positive and negative. Okay, that is the third level of existence. Beyond the mind comes the intellect. Intellect is that resource where you have knowledge related to whatever you've got in your past lives, in your childhood, in this lifetime, what people have told you. So what is your intellect? Is it ready to take in new information and things like that? So intellect is that thing that can actually challenge your mind. But above intellect comes memory. Okay, so even though your intellect may say that, oh my god, I need to lose weight, and for losing weight I'll have to take 10k steps and stop eating like maida and whatever sugary sweets and things like that. But there is memory that tells you, oh god, you remember that day you had ice cream from this parlor. Oh my God, that's so sweet. That was like, you relished it so much. You were so happy. And pizza from Pizza Hut or Domino's, wherever it is, like, it was so brilliant. It lifted your mood. So then comes memory, which like kind of sits on intellect and doesn't let it work well, right? So for memory, you need to recreate fresh memory. And that is why affirmations are very important. Anyway, there are many more things that work with beside affirmations to make them powerful. And then beyond your memory comes your entire idea of, your ego. Now, when I say ego, I do not, I don't mean by ego that it's a very, very inflated entity that you have as ego. Because generally we say she's egoistic or he's egoistic. We mean to say that she or he thinks a lot about himself or herself. But ego is also not thinking enough about ourselves. Like ego is like one part of my ego, which is like a very, very shallow and weak part of my ego, is that I'm not good at sports. Okay, so the moment I'm told ki chalo tum bhi khelo and things like that, I say, no, I think, I had a fracture and this, that, I'm not good at it. I cannot run fast. So that limiting entity, those limiting beliefs are also a part of my ego. Ego is your false identity. You put some things as your permanent self. Okay, so you think that, let's say that this person looks like this. Okay, so this person is fair. Let's imagine that you looked at me 3 years ago. Okay, so 3 years ago I had lost 15 kg of weight and I was like, very lean and thin, and I had straightened hair. It was kind of longish, more, better than this. But if you would see me then, and then you would think, oh, she is, and of course I looked at least 10 years younger. So you might have thought about my age in a wrong way. You might have thought, oh, she has straight hair. You might have thought that, okay, she's like very lean and thin. However, after 2-3 years, you would see a very different entity. So those were false identifications. That is to understand ego is a wrong identification. You are trying to put a permanent stamp on something which is not permanent. If I'm fat today, I can be, I can lose my weight and be whatever I want. And there are a number of things that we can change in the life. So ego is something which is a false impression of your own self and identifying with things which are temporary. And beyond that, the seventh layer is yourself or your spirit or your soul. Okay, spirituality is about reaching there. So there are, all these layers that need to be worked through before you can reach to spirituality. But obviously, it's not like an MBA course that semester wise we are going to go there. Everyone has a very different syllabus, and everyone catches or manifests spirituality in different ways. So in which way are you going to start with spirituality? Now, this is spirituality. What is the need of spirituality, right? Now, some people say, ki, theek hai, aise bhi tu jee sakta hai. Like, my mentee said, what is the need? And this mentee of mine is like, she's much older to me. And she's, even at that age, she's like still wondering, ki 60s mein kya hi zarurat hai iski? So the idea is that, and like she also has another thing to say that, I just have a few years left. So what's the need of spirituality? Let me just go like that. Even though she has taken meditations and healings from me, she has those kind of ideas. What is the need of spirituality? So it's something like you go to watch a movie. Okay, let's say I went to watch Mufasa and I started identifying with Mufasa. And even though the movie got over, I'm still thinking I'm Mufasa. So you're just watching a friend, my dear. Okay, spirituality is like coming back to real life. Okay, and it's not, obviously that's not exact and appropriate and apt understanding of what is your real life. And the idea is that if you are so content without spirituality, answer a few questions. Why do we hate some people from the very beginning? Sometimes it happens that some people come into your life and you like just dislike them, or perhaps detest is a better word. Some people come into your life and from the very first day you become friends. Like, I had this, my love story with my best friends. The very first day we met at St. Stephen's, it was the interview. And somehow the three of us, I was with my elder sister, and despite that, these two girls, they sat beside me and we started chit-chatting, and we didn't know that all three of us are going to crack the interview because there were only, I think, 12, 13 people taken, and we were the only three people who were outside St. Stephen's, from outside St. Stephen's, I believe, yeah. So, like, very minimal number of people are taken from outside the college. And somehow it so happened that all three of us clicked. That was the day 2006, and today is the day. So these people are called soulmates. Okay, and the ones I mentioned earlier, those people whom you dislike from the very first day, one of my bosses, so they are like your karmic partners. Karmic partners in the sense that people who have been there for lifetimes with you, and you have some karma to balance. And there are many more people, I'm sure, especially within the in-laws. You'll always watch the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law, and the worst of the karmics number of times come up as your life partner. That's very, very sad. And that generally happens when you are at a low frequency. In the beginning, you will find that, oh my God, you're so attracted to this person. Let me tell you, attraction, whenever you are attracted to someone, you need to take a few steps back. As a past life regression therapist, I can tell you that whenever you are attracted, like sexually attracted, okay, you must take a few steps back and wonder, do you want to know more about this person, or is it just this? Okay, so if you find that person intelligent, you find that person warm, and you really want to talk a lot with that person, then it makes sense. Otherwise, please be very clear, they may be your karmics. Okay, and the third level of understanding of these connections is your twin flame. Okay, twin flame is like, to understand twin flames, it's something like, you're highly attracted, highly attracted. You've never been attracted to anyone like this, and you never will be attracted to anyone like that. However, there's a lot of warmth in the connection, in the sense that even a smile of that person or that person's suffering will make you suffer. Okay, so the idea, answer this question that, how does this happen? This is not random. Okay, this is just not random. One of the major questions is that spirituality is needed because there are reincarnations. There is something beyond this temporary body. This body will stay on the earth, right? People will say Arunima is dead now, but Arunima's body will be here. And if not taken care, it will obviously, it will not be as fit as when I'm dead, right? So it will start decomposing and becoming a part of the earth. So there's something more permanent than the physical body. So there is something which goes out of the body, which is energy. And that energy is a part of spirituality, right? Apart from that, if you're so content with your, material life, why do you feel pain so much? Why do you attract diseases? And if you do attract diseases, why are there specific diseases for specific people? Like I remember in a certain situation, I attracted hypothyroidism. And when I attracted hypothyroidism, I was not even aware why it happens. It was to such a bad extent that, the doctor said that I've never seen such a bad report. Okay, they say 5.5 is the beginning of hypothyroidism. Okay, in the numbers, and mine was like three places I got my blood test done. In one of the places it said 527, the other place it was 150 something like that, and another place it was 200 something. So the least you can understand is 150 something. 5.5 is already guiding hypothyroidism, and it was too extreme. So why are people suffering from thyroid? The idea that when you feel that someone is like literally choking you, or someone is like literally stopping your voice, throat chakra, the thyroid is here, right? So the throat chakra is at this hormonal level of the thyroid gland. All the chakras are based in one of the most important places of your body, especially the 7 chakras. Why do you attract diseases? So there is something beyond, which you are suffering. So when you suffer emotionally, your emotional body, emotional part of yourself is being hurt. It takes it further and gets the toxins inside your body. That's something you cannot understand through just taking basic allopathy medicines. Of course, I do take the medicine as well. But what about people who attract cancer? Okay, you must read this book by Louise Hay, which talks about, it says, I think the name is You Can Heal Yourself. You can find out about Louise Hay's book. And it tells you, it gives you this entire table. It says you have this particular disease. This is the cause. This is the emotional, spiritual, physical cause. How to release it emotionally, right? So for cancer, they say that these people have been holding some kind of emotion and they're not speaking about it at all. There's something that is hitting them deep down inside. Why does blood pressure happen? Okay, blood pressure happen because of a lot of pressure and tension that you're taking in your living reality. I've heard a lot of people say, and some of my closest family members say that, "Ah, it's very easy to say, let go, let go, let go." How to do that, let go? So, where there is a will, there is a way. You'll find out the right person and work through it. And I'm going to talk about some of the ways that you can actually release these things. So, the first way of understanding is that, diseases come to you, specific diseases come to you because of the specific emotions you hold. The emotions take it further and make it a spiritual problem. Okay. And if you start releasing spiritually, if you get into spirituality, that is, you go beyond the mind. As I just said in the beginning, that spirituality is something which takes you beyond the mind. So you're not obsessed with the mind. Oh my God, I'm a human being. Right? So what is the need of spirituality again? When you think in terms of religion, and I really wanted to address this thing, you think of spirituality and religion as one. That's far from being. Yes, I may adhere to religion in a way of being spiritual. Like, I'm fasting on Mondays, and when I'm doing the aarti in the evening, I cry every time. It's mostly my kids, and I have to play the aarti because I am not in a state to sing, because I feel connected to that energy to which I'm praying. That's spirituality. However, when they say ki, people, when they guide you, is din ye karna, is din ye nahi karna hai, or you can do it with this hand, that hand, whatever, and they have no idea, that's blind faith. You must know why you are doing what. If you don't know why you're doing what, there is no sense. Like someone asked me, why should I not go to the temple during periods? Okay, and this was actually this enlightening reel was sent to me by a student only. Okay, so I was already working with a guru, and then this reel got sent, and the entire understanding of it is that periods is a time when you are flushing out energy, right? You're flushing out energy, and it's potent energy. Please mind it. It could have transformed into a life. Okay, when you are doing some kind of spiritual practices, or when you go to a mandir, and then there are big ghantas and whatever, so they actually, the kundalini shakti is supposed to be moving up while you are supposed to be flushing down, and flushing down is very important. If eating is important, flushing out is also very important, right? So that is the reason you should not. However, in the religion, you will have a number of people, udhar raho, don't come here, those kind of things is like absolutely nonsense. That they'll stop you from becoming a part of the community at that point of time. Ekdam dur raho. Okay, that is bad. That is like shaming it. And by the way, I just saw some videos related to all these cells that come out during periods to be able of curing diseases like cancer. Okay, so they are still researching on it. All the stigma that's there with the blood, that may be removed very soon, and all those people who were like spitting on this entire idea are going to take it, embrace it very. Okay, so the entire idea is that when you follow religion, and I have nothing against religion, but what I have is against those people who have no knowledge of religion. Thank you so much. Who have no knowledge of religion, but they're going to say nonsensical things. Okay, because you're born a Hindu, that's why you're great. Because you're born a Muslim, that's why you're wrong, and all those kind of things. So that is where the problem starts. Or because you're born a man, that's why you're great. Born a woman, that ye to isme nahi hoga. Ya fir this person is born a man, to isko to ye sab nahi hi aata hoga. Nahi aata hai, and then teach that man. What nonsense ki mard hai isliye isko ghar ka kaam nahi aata hoga. Why can't you teach that man? Right? So the entire idea of spirituality, when you talk in terms of religion, is to know what you're doing and how is it impacting you. Like to be aware. Like, I heard this somewhere. I don't know. I think Acharya Prashant, even though with some of his ideas I do not agree enough, but I think one of the videos he was saying something like, why did Karna have to suffer? So Karna was a great soul, but he had to suffer despite his greatness because he was not aware. Like in Hindi we call, he was behosh. Despite all the great things he had, he went to fight from the wrong side. He fought from the side of Duryodhan, from the side of evil that would have destroyed the society, right? So the entire idea why he suffered was because despite his greatness, he was fighting from the wrong side. If greatness goes to the wrong side, it helps the wrong side, okay? So consequently, he had to suffer. So the entire idea of religion and spirituality is that do not do anything which you do not understand why are you doing, and you have no knowledge of, the ins and outs of it, okay? And even when you're following religion, you must know that no religion is superior than the other. Maybe some religions are older, ancient, Hinduism is older, but that does not make you, like, what you call in Hindi, thekedar, right? If you're born a Hindu in this lifetime, let me tell you, in past lifetimes, you must have been some other religion. So, operating from a place, spirituality is operating from a place that today I'm here, tomorrow I may not be where I am, or yesterday I may not have been where I am today. Entire idea of spirituality is to get rid of ego, get rid of this false belief, ego in the sense, of using it in a wrong way. The need for spirituality is to become more compassionate, not just towards others, but also towards yourself. That is the main need of spirituality. To be able to understand that God is God made. Like for Lord Shiva, they say Swayambhu. He has made himself by himself. Okay, there's no creator of Lord Shiva. That's what he says. But when you talk of religion, religion is human made. And consequently, like someone, one of my little friends, like, she's much younger to me, 20 years younger, and she was asking me something like, Didi, tell me one thing, that if religion is a path to God, then why do people fight? Like she saw something in Kumbh or something of that sort, and then she said, why do people fight? In name of religion and things like that, whatever. So I said that, God is, God, but religion is made by humans. Humans are made by God. Religion is actually made by humans. And humans are filled with, shortcomings and loopholes. Consequently, there is a high level of, high chance of all these problems. Spirituality is actually understanding that even though on the outside we may all be very different, in fact, spiritual needs also may be very different, but deep inside we all belong to God. We come from God and we go back to God. That's the ultimate ambition everyone should have. The ultimate ambition of owning a car and house is all right till the time you're here, but this is all very impermanent. No one has been known to take their cars and the crores of rupees they have earned after they died with themselves. That all stayed on the planet, right? So that is the need of spirituality, to be able to understand life inside out, to create something like a meaningful life. So maybe, now, frankly speaking, if you ask me, like a few years ago, I read an article which said that school toppers are the most confused people. Okay. And at that time I was wondering, what nonsense, school toppers are people who are like toppers. Okay. Right. And 5-6 years down the line, frankly speaking, I also feel like that same school topper, because in the last 4-5 years, I have learned practically so many things that it literally confused me that what should I actually be doing. I've conducted more than 150 past life regression sessions. I've healed so many women. I've got so many women and children to write their books. And in the, like 10-12 years of a teaching career, I got so confused in my career that I did not know where should I be, right? Because I can do so many things very well. And the same confusion goes with people who don't do anything. So for them also this confusion stays, that what should I do? I've done nothing, right? So the entire idea of spirituality is to come up to that place, that area where you know what is my purpose. Yes, learning. I was learning like out of hunger. But I think I belong with the students. I think I belong, with children of that age, okay, who are like in their teenage. It is to understand that. And for doing that, you should be open to making mistakes, because failures are the pillars of success. In fact, failures are the first steps of success. If you failed, congratulate yourself, pat your back and say, okay, thank God, now I've started succeeding, because failure means you tried, right? So creating this meaningful, purposeful life is, one of the reasons why we need spirituality. For better health, we need spirituality. Because number of times I've seen many people like they're earning lakhs and crores, and oh my God, these were people when I was doing my English honors, and people were thinking कि इसको तो कुछ और करना चाहिए था, she should have been at a higher thing. People thought that I'll crack UPSC and stuff, and I became a school teacher, and people thought, what a waste. After being a topper and a Stephanian, she should have been somewhere like in a better place. So when I look at them who hardly have any time, like frankly speaking, I also have a very busy life, but when you look at the health, the way they look, the way they feel, the way they cannot get enough sleep, and even when they go to the bed and can't sleep, okay, the kind of white or gray hair they have, like, numerous gray hair, not that I don't have, I also have, but people of my age, as far as I have seen, there are far more number of gray hair, and in terms of weight, in terms of number of diseases, and in terms of the number of medicines that they're taking, far numerous. What's the use of, choosing a career where you cannot give time to yourself? I think the entire concept of earning money in the beginning, like, when we are students in school, we think that we need a life where we are happy. Unfortunately, we say happiness is equal to a lot of money. Of course, money is very important, very, very important. But um, for a better health, you need time for yourself. You need good sleep. You need, something like a Sattvic Rajasic diet. You need something like, having a good time with your kids. Not telling kids, abhi chup raho, abhi chup raho. You need quality time with your partner, right? You need the capability of standing and speaking up for yourself. I've seen so many marriages and they think that, oh my God, how is Arunima managing things alone? And frankly speaking, if you ask me, I just managed to think for you that how are you managing things with that person whom you absolutely hate, and you're living with that person till date, and there is absolutely no plan of, separating from them or to have a marriage counseling done. So spirituality gives you this kind of an understanding. Spirituality gives you wisdom as against the intelligence and the idea of only earning money, living in the best of houses, driving the best of cars and going on best of vacations. It's understanding that money and comfort is not equal to happiness. It's a, ability to understand happiness is beyond. Spirituality gives you less drama. Okay, like previously, I have myself involved in a lot of drama. Frankly, whether it be in the household or whether it be in the workplace, like I've also like either heard a lot of, like people shouting at me, or I shouting back when I actually started speaking for myself. And then came this entire wave of calmness, which told me that I now understand people on the very first day. And then I become a silent observer. I let them put forward their selves, okay? Whether it's the pretended entity or whatever entity. And most of the times I see that people are not able to pretend now in front of me. Most of the people are not able to pretend. So if there are those types of people who have extensions, according to people, let me behave like this, then most of the times they get bored with me. Kya re ye to? And if they are realistic people, they are like children. And that's why I think I was like very happy teaching children. They are like children, like who are very natural. Whatever they are, they are. They have not become these worldly entities. Then I have a good time with them. So, spirituality gives you less drama in your life. You are more inward driven. I've seen myself 5, 6 years ago. I was like more concerned with, oh God, what will people think? Okay, like when I got my hair straightened, I really wondered how many people will say you were looking bad, this, that, and the other. Now I don't care. Whether my hair is straightened or whether I'm having gray hair, it doesn't really matter. I'm more inward driven. Yes, dissatisfaction comes within me when I realize that today I have not given myself the opportunity to sleep for 8 hours. And I'm continuing this for 2 days more. So you are more inward driven, and that actually is the beginning of happiness. Let me tell you. You cannot change the outside world. What you can change is yourself. That itself is very difficult. A few days ago, a magic happened with me. Something like, I was not feeling up to, I was feeling very lazy, and I was like, laziness also tells you, oh my God, there's pain in the hand, in the legs and everything. So I was feeling like that, and then I had to clean the house and sit back on doing my work. So at that point of time, my body said, oh, no, let's go off to sleep. Let's have a lot of coffee. And for the first time that day, and it has come after so many years, I feel so fortunate. I said, I'm not going to listen to this voice. It's all right. It's all right. I'm not going to listen. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I, started off with clean the puja, then the drawing room, then the washroom, everything I cleaned. And then I took a bath and I did all the work that was required. That day I was feeling lighter. In fact, after doing all the work at night, I had such a good sleep. So the entire idea to be able to come up to that situation, is to begin with spirituality, to be inward driven, to be only concerned about yourself. Because unless you become compassionate about yourself, you will not be compassionate to the world. Like, I've attended Art of Living before also, and I went to this happiness program very close by. And I saw that I was sitting with a lot of men. I was the only woman there, and there were all these other men. And in between, in spiritual practices, sometimes you can start laughing, sometimes you can start crying. And I was feeling like overwhelmed, and I started crying. I cried so much. Everyone was looking at me, and I was like least bothered. Everyone is looking at me. And then when I started feeling very calm, I was very calm, and then I continued with the meditation. However, on that day and the coming days, there were these other men who said something like, I really want to cry. And I was trying my best not to let tears come out. And the instructor, she kept saying that don't let emotions inside, let them out. That is how you are going to become calm. But unfortunately, I was like, realizing it felt like that all this I have against, masculinity, or like, the present patriarchal world. I keep saying women are suffering, 70,000 men are learning how to rape and things like that. The idea is women have kept quiet for centuries. Women have not stood for themselves, and women are, by now not standing for themselves. It's not just women who are suffering, it's also men who are suffering. Imagine, this is two women. Imagine living in a world where you can't even express yourself. I remember crying in, the assembly. One of my, the teachers in the same school where I was teaching, he was leaving. It was his last day, and he was giving his farewell speech, and I was crying. Two of my students were standing behind my back, and everyone could see me in front, and I was still crying. So men don't have that kind of luxury. I'm sure many women also don't have that luxury because they don't give themselves that luxury. However, men are taught not to give them, that kind of luxury. A lot of men are not helping their wives because they've been conditioned to believe that ना मर्दानगी है बीवी का की मदद करना, किचन में जाएगा, या फिर are you going to hold your child, things like that. So this entire idea of looking at the world like yourself or like sufferers, ki inki, why is this person behaving like this, comes from spirituality. And to get less hurt by the world, you understand, people are behaving like this because they come from a certain background. Like background, I'm not talking about the religion. Background in the sense that there is something what they have suffered which you can't understand, right? Of course, that does not mean that they should be open, men should be open to learn rape tutorials and stuff like that. But another thing that spirituality teaches you is also the fact that when you change, your external world also changes. That's one of the most required things of spirituality. Why spirituality is really required. Like, since childhood, I think not just in my house, I think in every house, women are brought up like this, most of the houses. But even in the school that I studied, because you'd always want, convent educated girls. I'm a convent educated girl, 12 years of convent education. You're taught to be very polite, to be, validating your existence. Okay, there's some work happening outside. So the entire idea is to, like, as a girl, I had become someone like who had to justify at every point of time, who had to justify why am I doing this, why am I doing that to people. And now that I'm out of it for last 5-6 years, now when I see that in someone else, I actually wonder, what is the need? Why do you need to justify? People who love you and understand you, they don't need that justification. People who don't understand you, they'll fight over that also. Your most genuine emotion, even if you open up in front of a person who does not consider you, they will still not understand it. All these things come from spirituality. So what are the ways of getting into spirituality? I'll run through it very fast. If at all you can, this is not an advertisement. I've not been given any money. I don't know if you can see it. Okay, it's coming in mirror image. It's called Shadow Work Journal. It's by Kayla Shaheen. You can get it on Amazon. I've been working on it for some time. And one of my students, she asked me like, ma'am, I really want to give you a gift, and said, oh, let me tell you what I want. This is a book, and there are many other ways of doing shadow work. There are courses. There are also videos. You can begin with, YouTube videos to understand what is shadow self. So let's say this is a pen. Of course, this is a pen only. And sun comes from this side. So when people throw light on this pen, the shadow will be formed this side, right? When the sun is this side, then the shadow will be formed the other side. The entire idea of shadow is the part of the self which is not visible. So how can you understand your shadow? Shadow is a part of yourself which you still do not know. Like in my childhood, I was like very scared to speak in front of people. My shadow was the public speaker that I am. And when I looked through my past lives, through meditation and through past life regressions, I realized for lifetimes I had been working on expression. I really wanted to sing in front of people. I really wanted to dance and, do best things possible in my lifetime. So, shadow work is going to bring out the best and the worst in you out. It will get you to understand how to understand shadow work. One of the major ways is also to see what triggers you. What triggers me, like when I hear news about women rapes and things like that, suicides. So some of these I already know that it has happened in one of the past lives. That is why it triggers me deep inside. When I see Hindu, Muslim, those communalism things, I really feel very, very annoyed. I remember my lifetime as a Muslim woman. I remember my lifetime as a Christian man, as a Sikh man. So all these things, so you will know, you don't need to go to the past life, but you can work through the shadow, and there are ways, there are activities which are given. You have to do it on your own only. So shadow work is a very, very relevant and important and fastest way of getting into spirituality. One of the sure short ways again is meditation. Many people say, I don't know how to meditate. You can use a guided meditation from YouTube. Okay. If you're stressed, look for guided meditation for stress. You can go on like that. So meditation can be dealt in many ways. There are angel healing meditations also. So when you get into meditations, you know what, YouTube will like open up its bank, and every other day you'll get some other kind of meditation. Breath work is a great way. You can start with pranayams, and they are teaching pranayams on YouTube again. But if you have someone close by, some yoga trainer, then and now I don't train people into this. I did yoga training for some people in the past, but you can find you good yoga trainers, I'm sure. Journaling is a big thing. Now, journaling does not require anyone else talking to you. Just get one notebook or one diary for yourself. Start writing whatever you feel like. After 2-3 days, try to segregate positive with negative. When you're writing positive things about your life, write it like a gratitude. I'm so thankful. When you think life is hell, write it on loose sheets, tear it off, burn it, and flush it. Even if you can't burn it, then just tear it off into a number of pieces and throw it so that you don't watch it again. Just feel it's out of my aura. Journaling is very important. Sometimes, like in the past, I have understood myself through journaling that, oh, this is the reason why I was getting annoyed. Some people will wonder, ki, oh my God, aisa thodi hota hai ki, like you understand. Yes, that's after coming into a lot of depth. I'm telling you this. You don't know yourself. Anyways, third way is yoga. Now, yoga, of course, I know the way yoga has been misused. Very, very unfortunate. Yoga can actually open up your chakras, and yoga can actually help you, like that prana energy, like move around in your entire body. Yoga is a great way. Yoga has not been understood by Indians themselves. Very, very sad. Very sad, in fact. So, one of the books I was reading, I always talk about it, by an American or in English. She wrote something like, yoga can actually take away your past life and inner child problems and pains. It does. Because I am on a spiritual journey. I'm a twin flame. And I know that I've been guided towards yoga a number of times. So yoga is a very, very potent way of moving across. But when you're doing yoga, be also very clear. One thing with all these things is having a kind of diet which helps you. I'm not saying that aaj ke aaj aap band karo, and from tomorrow you are only going to have sattvic food. No, I'm not trying to say that. I'm trying to say that it has happened for me. It has taken like 5 years actually. 3-4 years ago when I had lost my weight, I was using a protein shake. Of course, I was also using homemade food. But shunning the outside food, coming to homemade food, then getting rid of a few things, and now I have come to 1 or 2 salad diets in a day and things like that. You have no idea how much can food change you inside out, especially when you eat food and be just with the food. Number of times what I used to do in the past was ki khana lagao, like khana khao, and then with my kids I would watch movies. And that was like one of the best definitions of fun. But you know what happened, that that food is also taking the horror movie aap dekh rahe ho, khane mein horror ke sath aap andar, you're putting it, ingesting in your system. What you should ideally be doing is trying not to multitask. So when you're eating, then you're eating only. Okay, be focused on eating and chew it properly. It's something like, they say something like, you must like drink your food how will you drink your food? Like, it should be chewed enough number of times. They say 40 times. I don't know 40 is possible or not, but it should go in the smallest. Like, every morsel should be chewed enough. And you must eat your water. Eat your water as a you don't drink entire thing once, okay? Take enough time to drink it. That will help a lot. Even if you don't do other things and you just change your food, you'll see a drastic weight loss, and you'll also see a drastic, peace of mind, stress loss, okay? Vipassana is a great way, but Vipassana, you should always go to for Vipassana with a happy mind. People who have gone to Vipassana with a saddened mind or a restless mind, Vipassana magnifies that. Even though people are not talking about it openly, my life changed because of Vipassana. Those 10 days, I saw a number of my past lives. So many things happened. All my fears went into vapor. And after that, I was able to answer back my boss. But the idea is that Vipassana can only be attempted if you have, some people say कि मैं तो 1 घंटे चुप नहीं रह सकता. Okay, so start off with keeping quiet for some time if you really are aiming for Vipassana. Or you can go to other Vipassana centers for 1 day silence, then 2 days silence. When I told someone, I think in one of the retreats only, I was telling them, they were thinking, "Kya bhai, hum log to itne saal se spiritual hai." And I said, they have 10 days silence. And I said, what 10 days not keeping, not speaking? Vipassana is a big thing. Sudarshan Kriya is magical. The amount of negativity you are going to flush out for the first 1 or 2 days, you may actually not be in a situation to understand what's happening. First day, second day, third day, maybe like you also have headaches. After that, you'll see your body energy, your mind energy, everything changes. So Sudarshan Kriya is magical. Reiki healing, angel healing, all these healings are actually they are comforters. They are instead of walking, you take a car. So healing can actually take you to the path of spirituality. In the sense that I wouldn't say that healing directly is spirituality in that sense that it's going to get you to become someone, or of course, worldly sense healing will help you a lot. But if you're actually looking forward to becoming spiritual, 2, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of healing will take you into depths of spirituality. Like Reiki healing has that power. Immediately after my, cast in my, fractured leg was taken off, the very next day I was walking because I was Reiki healing. I was doing Reiki healing. And people at my home, and I gave up, I was not taking anyone's help, and I was just able to walk. 3rd, 4th day, I was walking normally. And within 15 days, I was able to, take the stairs also. So healing can be very, very powerful. But be very sure that, when you are already doing this work, spirituality is more about shedding the unneeded things from your aura. Okay. But one thing you should be very careful of is to also acknowledge all those things which are harming the peace of your mind. Now, when you actually are, let's say, doing all these practices and then you go and eat pizza. Thank you so much. You go and eat pizza. कि चलो ये सब किया ना, अब तो pizza खा लेते हैं. I'm not saying that there cannot be a cheat day. Please have your cheat days. Let your heart and mind be happy also. But if on a regular basis ये भी कर रहे हैं, कॉफी भी पी रहे हैं, टीवी भी देख रहे हैं 4 घंटे, and I'm sleeping only for 2 hours, बीच रात में पढ़ाई कर रहा हूँ मैं, please be compassionate towards yourself. This entire spiritual journey is to be able to fall in love with yourself. Everything teaches that you must love and accept yourself as you are. That is the ultimate understanding and lesson. And you must surrender to God. Why do you surrender to God? Now, some people say, I remember, connecting with a group of people last year. And they said कि ऐसे भगवान को क्या प्रार्थना करने की जरूरत है जिनको रोज प्रार्थना करना पड़ता है. So it's not like you're becoming slave by praying to God. Okay. You are God. You are a part of God. And when you pray to God, it's actually leveling up your frequency towards God. Please understand it like that. You are a part of that God and you're trying to feel God within yourself. Okay. So the entire idea is to be able to realize God within you. There are some people who are afraid of spirituality. There are some people who do not like spiritual people, or they say कि ये सब fake है, सब लोग ऐसे ही fake हैं. Of course, there are many fake people. I'll be the first one to tell you. But a lot of people are, think that spirituality is scary or things like that. I have seen many people who came to me for personality development and public speaking. There were 50 women on the first day, free course, public speaking. Next day, there were 22. Third day, there were 10. No, 12, I think. Because they were not ready to face themselves in meditation. Meditation gives out those thoughts. But guess what? If you have had bad food, like let's say you went somewhere in a marriage or somewhere, and you had some food which was not good for your gut or not good for your body, will you still try to digest it कि किसी तरह से digest करते कोई बात नहीं disease हो जाए? You will be required to throw it out. You will be required to vomit it. So spirituality is that entire process. Something which is absolutely obnoxious has to be vomited out. Otherwise, you can start releasing bit by bit by bit by bit. So that's it about spirituality. The need of it, what is it, how to get into it. If there are any more questions, please do ask me. And signing off, Arunimasana. Namaste.